Thanks to our amazing community members like you, we've reached the top 15 of Spotify's video podcasts, the top 10 audio podcasts on both Apple and Spotify for the tech category. So you all make this possible. If you want to support us more, check out our Patreon. That's patreon.com/StageZeroNews so we can keep this free and open for you to enjoy. Something interesting happened the other day. I was looking through our stats on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and I noticed that about 55% of you are not subscribed to the show. That means 45% of you are subscribed, and I really do appreciate your support. Now, the other 55 are awesome, but I'm going to ask a favor. Could you please hit the subscribe button? It'll take you 1 second. I'm going to promise you 10 years of this podcast for free. No paywalls. I'm not going to charge you anything ever, but I'm going to give you 10 years of this show for free. I've already been doing it for 5 years, and I plan on doing it for 10 more. And the only way that we can continue doing this is with your support. So 1 second of your time to hit the subscribe button right now would help this show tremendously. Thank you so much. Elon Musk's AI company, xAI, is building a video game studio. Not a traditional studio that happens to use AI tools, a studio where AI is the entire point. Now, the company posted a public call for developers this week, asking for people who want to build games from first principles with artificial intelligence at the center of every direct decision. Now, Musk has said that the studio will release its first AI-generated game before the end of 2026. That's very close. This is also a very different approach than anything that the major publishers are doing right now. And whether it works or not, it signals something important about where AI and gaming might be headed. xAI has been hiring for this project since at least October. Job listings have appeared for game developers, and what the company calls video game tutors, people paid $45 to $100 an hour to train Grok on game design concepts, mechanics, and also storytelling. Now, the studio is not fully structured yet. It appears to be in the early stages of assembling a team, but Musk has been telegraphing this move for over a year, and now it appears to be absolutely real. So today we're going to walk through what xAI is actually building, how it compares to what Microsoft and Nvidia are actually doing, what this could mean for the gaming industry, and why some people are very skeptical about this approach, right after this break. Now, this announcement started on X. Musk shared a post confirming that xAI is hiring for video games. In response to a user who posted an AI-generated clip of what looked like a military shooter, Musk wrote that this xAI game studio will release a great AI-generated game before the end of next year. That is the timeline, the end of 2026, a fully AI-generated game that Musk is already calling great before any of it even exists. And what actually does AI-generated mean in this context? It means the game's worlds, characters, dialogue, and challenges would be created dynamically by the AI rather than pre-scripted or written by human developers. Traditional games have fixed content. Every player sees pretty much the same levels, the same enemies, the same story beats. An AI-generated game could theoretically create unique experiences for every single player with environments and narratives that evolve based on you and how you actually play. xAI says it wants to build games from first principles. Now, that phrase keeps appearing in the job postings and public statements. It suggests the company is not interested in layering AI onto existing game development pipelines. It wants to start from the beginning, from scratch with AI at the core. And developers who join would be building tools and systems that do not currently exist. Everything is new. This is research and development wrapped in a consumer product. And Musk first floated the idea back in 2024, about November. He posted on X that too many game studios are owned by massive corporations, that xAI would start an AI game studio to make games great again. Now, that framing was political, of course, aimed at what Musk perceives as ideological influence in mainstream game development. But the underlying bet is the technology. Can generative AI produce games that feel coherent, engaging, and you actually want to play them? I mean, I'm a gamer. I play games for hundreds of hours sometimes thousands of hours over the course of years. And when Elon says that he doesn't want massive corporations in charge of the games, think about his legacy. All of his companies, they work together. xAI is one arm of everything, but Grok and X and SpaceX and Tesla, they all work together. But, can all of this be done by xAI? And is it actually worth playing? We don't know. That's what we're trying to answer here. And we're going to see, hopefully, by the end of 2026, if that's going to be a thing. Now, xAI is not the only company experimenting with AI in games. Microsoft launched a browser-playable version of Quake 2 this year using the Muse AI model. The demo is old school. It runs at 640 by 360 res and generates every frame in real time based on player input. You can move, shoot, and explore, and the AI creates the visuals on the fly. Microsoft says it trained the model on about 1 week of gameplay data, down from the 7 years of data required for earlier versions. It's pretty rough, though. The enemies seem to be blurry. The worlds don't really connect well. Frame rate hovers around 15 frames per second, which is pretty horrible in today's 300 plus frame rates with some games. But it works. You can play inside the model, as Microsoft describes it, inside of a browser. Phil Spencer, who's the head of Microsoft Gaming, has talked about using this tech for game preservation, allowing old titles to run on modern hardware without needing the original source code or the engine, because languages change over time. JavaScript has changed. HTML has changed. For me, I'm a front-end coder, so I see those things change. All the other languages change and evolve. So having these old titles be available forever, that'd be kind of cool. And Nvidia is pursuing a different angle, though. Its ACE for Game system focuses on creating AI-driven digital humans, characters that can respond dynamically to player input with realistic speech and behavior. The goal is NPCs that feel like people. They remember what you say to them. They react to your choices in ways that feel natural rather than scripted. And also, Roblox has rolled out a tool called Roblox Cube that helps developers build games using generative AI. Google's DeepMind has experimented with world models that can generate playable 3D environments. Genie 2, their latest system, creates interactive 3D worlds from text prompts, and the technology is advancing on multiple fronts. So what makes xAI's approach distinct is the scope of ambition. Microsoft is treating Muse as a research project and a potential just a tool for prototyping and game preservation. Nvidia is focused on character behavior. Roblox is giving developers more tools. xAI is saying it will ship a consumer-facing game built entirely by AI within roughly 18 months. That is crazy little bit of time here, like under a year, basically, for them to develop and build this whole game. And it could be a short game, like a 30-minute game. I mean, that's a game, right? Is there going to be a multiplayer part to it? We don't know. He didn't say anything about it in earnest, but it puts the company in a different category of risk and expectation, considering what they're going to be doing. And the global video game market is projected to exceed $600 billion by 2030. AI is increasingly used in story design, character development, procedural content generation, and quality assurance testing. Now, a recent Google Cloud survey found that 87% of developers are now using AI agents that adapt to players in real time. The industry is already moving in this direction. The question is whether xAI can leapfrog others and deliver something genuinely new and actually good that you want to play. Think about it like this. Strong AI tools are helpful, but do not replace people, because you need leadership for things like this. It's a complex problem to solve, right? You need creative people to drive those storylines. Generative models can produce content quickly. I mean, we all use ChatGPT, right? You can create anything within seconds, but that content may not connect with players the way the human-crafted experiences do. A game needs to feel intentional. It needs to feel like you need to feel something. It needs pacing, just like a movie, just like a show, emotional arcs, just like a movie and a show, moments of surprise and tension, laughter, humor, things like that. And we all know that ChatGPT has no humor. It's not good at it. And, it can makes some okay stories, but for the most part, it's very basic. And xAI and Grok hasn't shown anything meaningful in that regard either. More meaningful than something like ChatGPT or Claude or anything like that. Now, whether AI can deliver those quantities at the level that players expect from AAA titles remains unproven because it hasn't been done yet, especially a AAA title like Elon is talking about. There's also the question of what AI generated actually means in practice. Musk has shown demos of Grok generating simple 2D games like Pac-Man clothes using JavaScript. These are basic implementations. Generating a polished 3D experience with physics, narratives, cohesion, and visual fidelity is orders of magnitude harder. Musk has said xAI is working on integrating photorealistic graphics into AI games, but he's not explained how to do it. The gap between a proof of concept and a shippable product is quite vast. So think about this. Legacy Hollywood studios have spent the last few decades on trying to build lifelike, photorealistic people in their movies. And even the AAA titles of today, there's still some sort of thing going on with their faces and their lips and their eyes that it's the uncanny valley. You can't unsee it either. Now, the gap between a proof of concept for Elon and a shippable product is huge. It's about a year away, according to Elon. Now, is this another one of Elon's promises that won't actually happen? We're going to wait and find out, I guess. And xAI's gaming push also is a pretty big strategy here. The company's trying to find a consumer application for Grok beyond the chatbot on X. A successful game would demonstrate that Grok can do more than answer questions. It can also create gaming experiences. It can entertain you. That would differentiate xAI from OpenAI or Anthropic, who focus primarily on productivity and enterprise applications, as well as Google, the whole Google suite with Gemini. And gaming is a different market with different success criteria. If xAI can crack it, the implications extend well beyond entertainment. EA, Take-Two Interactive, Ubisoft, and other major publishers have invested heavily in traditional development pipelines. They employ thousands of artists, writers, designers, and engineers, and if AI can meaningfully accelerate or replace parts of that workflow, the cost structure of the industry could shift dramatically. Smaller teams might be able to compete with larger studios now, and development cycles could shorten. The balance of power between publishers and independent creators could completely change. There might not be any more gatekeepers, but none of it's guaranteed. AI gaming is very early, and the technology produces impressive demos, kind of, but has not yet delivered anything commercially that's any good. xAI is betting it can change that within about a year, maybe two. Musk has a track record of setting aggressive timelines and sometimes, a lot of the times, missing them. And SpaceX was supposed to send humans to Mars in 2024. Thousands of people working on the the red planet in 2020, according to Elon, years and years ago. That didn't happen. Tesla's full self-driving has been coming next year for many years now. Musk also has a track record of eventually delivering things that seemed impossible. Reusable rockets like the Falcon 9 and now Starship. Starship's not quite there yet, but it will be. EVs at scale, Tesla, everything at Tesla, and also global satellite internet. He's delivered all those things. Not full self-driving, but EVs at scale. Not complete starships yet, but definitely Falcon 9 reusable rockets, which paved the way for future missions to Mars. Now, the gaming industry will be watching all of this from afar because xAI is just a little guy right now. They're not worried about Elon. They're not worried about xAI. They have their pipelines that they have to fulfill. They're going to implement their own AI technologies. And what I think is going to happen, which I believe this is happening with vehicles as well, is the hybrid approach. Nobody's ready to really completely switch over to complete battery power yet for vehicles. not a major chunk of the population yet. Right? So there's going to be ICE vehicles, there's going to be EVs, and then there's going to be something in between, which is a hybrid, which is the safety of an ICE vehicle because you're not going to run out of gas, and also the luxury of an EV where it's quiet, it's nice, and you don't have to worry about using gas for your car. You just charge it at home. That's nice, right? It's a nice thing to have. So I think that's what's going to happen with most of these studios is they're going to continue doing what they're doing, but add AI elements to it, sort of like what enterprise coding has done. So everything that's like lower level in the gaming studios will be replaced by AI eventually. AI will be able to create the code for a base layer for a game. But eventually, those middle layers will also be taken away. So middle coders have been taken away from front-end web development for a while now. Beginners, good luck. You're not gonna find anything unless it's maybe a local studio. That's about it right now. You can't find anything in the big FANG companies anymore, not for starters. And also, eventually, the higher levels too, because AI will figure out a way to take your job too. And above that, there's just going to be prompters, etc., that'll be doing the work. That'll be like, hey, create me a game that does X, Y, Z. Create me a mix between Battlefield and also Roblox. Like, that's cool. That'll be fun. But also add some Minecraft elements to it. Blah, blah, blah. You know, whatever they want to do. There's so many different options. But also throw in Pac-Man. That'd be interesting. So AI gaming market is expected to grow from 3.2 billion now to 59 billion in 10 years, according to Dimension Market Research. It's an 18-fold increase in about 10 years. Now, whoever figures out how to make AI-generated games work could capture a large amount of that market. Now, Musk has called this effort an attempt to make games great again. Definitely political. Whether that happens depends on execution, and the code will either work or it won't. We might get a small demo by the end of 2026. I think it would be pretty fun to have a 10-minute demo. That would be great. No amount of hype, though, can substitute for a product that players actually want to spend time with. xAI has to deliver by the end of 2026. Hey, thank you so much for listening today. I really do appreciate your support. If you could take a second and hit the subscribe or the follow button on whatever podcast platform you're on right now, I'd greatly appreciate it. It helps out the show tremendously. And you'll know, and each episode is about 10 minutes to get you caught up quickly. And please, if you support the show even more, .com/stage0. And please take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you tomorrow.